The fork in my hand trembles before it reaches my mouth, the sweet glaze dripping from the roasted carrots suddenly unappealing. My father's voice still echoes, sharp as glass. "You're nothing but dead weight. It's time you got out." The dining room falls into an uneasy silence, the kind where even the smallest sounds feel amplified: the scrape of a knife, the slow tick of the wall clock, the clink of a glass settling onto the table. My mother studies her plate as if deciphering a secret message in her untouched peas. Across from me, my younger brother Kyle stares at his water glass, pretending not to hear. It is the timing that cuts deepest. I'd spent the whole morning cooking, filling the air with the scent of rosemary and roasted turkey, while the others lounged in front of the television. Only an hour earlier I'd shared my excitement about a raise at work. Now, surrounded by the very meal I prepared, I've been declared unwanted. The irony burns. My name is on the bills that keep the lights glowing, on the receipts for the groceries covering this table, on the statement that paid for my mother's recent prescriptions. Yet here I sit, cast as the burden. I lower my fork, set the napkin on my lap, and look directly at my father. His jaw is tight, waiting for me to crumble. But instead of breaking, I hear myself say calmly, "I understand perfectly." Sleep was impossible. At 2 a.m, I found myself on the bedroom floor, surrounded by half-packed boxes and the steady hum of my phone charging on the nightstand. Each sweater I folded into the suitcase felt heavier than the last, as if fabric alone carried the weight of betrayal. I reached into my desk for the folder where I kept utility bills, pay stubs, and receipts, proof of how much I'd shouldered. That's when I noticed a small stack of envelopes buried beneath them, all with my father's name. Curiosity prickled as I tore one open. A bank statement, then another and another. The numbers grew as I flipped through, balances climbing each month while I drained my savings to keep this family afloat. My throat tightened as I reached a glossy brochure tucked at the bottom. A fishing boat, complete with handwritten notes in my father's blocky script. Down payment, $5,500. Scheduled delivery after Thanksgiving. I pressed my hands against my knees, trying to steady the shaking. While I skipped lunches to cover the electric bill, he had been planning weekend trips on the water. A soft knock broke my spiral. Kyle slipped into the room, his eyes darting toward the half-zipped suitcase. "You're really leaving?" he whispered. "I don't have a choice," I said, sliding the bank statements into my bag. His lip quivered. "Mom and Dad, they've been talking about that boat for weeks. They waited for you to pay the bills before saying anything." The words hollowed me out, but his guilt-stricken eyes stopped me from turning it against him. He was just a kid, caught in the crossfire. 3 days later, I sat on the edge of a borrowed couch in my friend Megan's apartment, my life reduced to 2 suitcases and a cardboard box stacked by the wall. Each ping of my phone sent dread crawling up my spine. Aunts, cousins, distant relatives, they all had their version of events fed to them by my father. "You abandoned your family. You broke your mother's heart." I didn't reply. Instead, I called the utility companies, the insurance provider, even the internet service. One by one, I removed my name, cutting the last threads they might tug to pull me back into their grip. The representative at the electric company chuckled. "Smart move," she said. "Your father called yesterday trying to switch it back under you." That evening, Megan's roommate, Chris, tossed me a squeaky tennis ball. His golden retriever bounded after it, tail wagging furiously, then dropped it in my lap. For the first time in days, I laughed, loud, unguarded. The sound startled me, as though it belonged to someone else. But peace was fragile. A week later, pounding rattled the apartment door. My father's voice bellowed from the hallway, demanding I return, accusing me of betrayal. I dialed 911 with steady fingers. By the time officers led him away in cuffs, I knew I'd never step back into that house again. Months have passed now. I live in a small studio with teal walls I painted myself. The bills on my counter bear only my name. On Thanksgiving, I cooked a simple dinner. No feast. just enough for Megan, Chris, and Kyle, who now spends weekends with me. As we raised our glasses, I felt something my parents never gave me: freedom, stitched with belonging.